What is going on, everybody? It is Treeb from Treeb Talks here. Haven't busted out a little what's going on, it's Treeb from Treeb Talks intro in a fat minute. It's been a while since I let you know who I am. And it's because we're going to try something new here on the channel. We're going to try something new that, I haven't really done before, at least not by myself, in my own element. I'm going to be kind of doing a solo podcast, going to see if, this takes off, or, at least it gives me something to put out until I start making these long-form videos that I do intend to make. I do have some stuff in my drafts right now. I got some Kill Tony content coming your guys' way. I do appreciate all the Kill Tony fans who have found my channel and that have, really shown a lot of support, mostly off of just one video. I had a YouTube short of the most recent Kill Tony golden ticket winner, Isla. I don't know her last name. And I got a lot of comments on there saying, oh, why didn't you put her name in the description? Why didn't you put her name in the title of the video? I'm here to tell you right now that when I was consistently, and when I do consistently get on these YouTube grinds, I go pretty hard for content over quality, or quantity over quality. That's kind of been my mainstay on YouTube here. And, I clipped that part and I just uploaded it right away. But, that is Isla, is her name, and she's very talented. In that moment where she got the golden ticket was a standout one for me. That's why I clipped it. That's why I talked about it in the episode review. And, Kill Tony has kind of been one of my major hobbies and one of my major things that I like to do, at least what I like to watch in my free time. This started off as if you really want to get into the weeds, this started off as a WWE channel back when I was a child, transitioned to more of a Jacksonville Jaguar channel, and now is more of a stand-up comedy Kill Tony channel. But, I don't really have those, the goal to, make my channel super niche and make it about one thing. I just want to talk to you guys and talk to people that care about things that I'm interested in. And at the moment, I'm interested in Kill Tony, and I think that this podcast and this kind of form of content will allow me to just get things off my chest and allow me to speak about things that I'm just overall interested in. Also, it gives me a chance to get back to being monetized, because if you don't upload at least 3 videos in 90 days, you lose that opportunity. And even though I'm not at that 3,000 watch minutes just yet, I'm pretty close. I think right now I'm at 1,900. So we are trickling down to the wire very, very quickly. I'm also trying to hone my editing skills, and I think doing a podcast like this, or doing something that is a pretty long form, like a podcast, is going to give me an opportunity to do that. My day-to-day job that I have at the Lewiston Tribune, we're kind of barking in an adventure to do more content like this and to do more things of that nature. So being able to have that in my back pocket and being able to do it for myself will not only help me at work, but it will help me be able to grow here on YouTube as well. Just to kind of hone my skills and, show what I could do, because I have been making YouTube videos for a long time. I've been a journalist, and I've been, in the multimedia space for, since I graduated high school, really consistently. And it is kind of embarrassing that I haven't put more into the world of video editing. So, I need to do a better job in that aspect, and I need to show that I have learned a thing or two, and I do have the ability to edit things and to make them look good and appealing to the eye. And I also have the ability to be recorded and to not look down here at my laptop every single chance I get. But that's all I want to do. All I want to do is look at myself during this. That's like my first gut reaction, is to look down here and say, wow, Treeb, everybody's going to talk about your windbreaker and your beanie and probably talk about how fat you are. Really trying to find what you guys are going to nitpick on me. But we enjoy it. I thought I was going to be recording this with this new camera that we have here at the Tribune, but, you know, again, talking about how long I've been doing this, I couldn't figure out quite how to get it to work onto Streamlabs. And, I've been doing a lot of stuff today, so I just decided, you know what? I don't want to deal with that today, so I went right to my cell phone in order to record this. And honestly, it's not that bad. And I think that this setup isn't that bad either. I think that, kind of the whole vibe that I'm trying to give off here is what it is. We are in the photo lab of a newsroom. It is a mess. I didn't make this mess. This is a mess from the 1960s. This is stuff that has been here since the dawn of time. And, that is kind of what the newspaper represents. And I think that's kind of what represents me. I'm scatterbrained. I have ideas. I have things that I want to do. And, I think I need an outlet and I need a, kind of video style to get those things out there. So that's what this podcast is going to be about. And, if you're watching this and you are a friend or a family member or just like Christopher Columbus, Jay Dang, or, anybody that has just been, randomly subscribed to me for a long time, and you want to know what's just new in my life, the biggest headline in my life is that I am engaged to my best friend, the coolest girl I have ever met in my life, Renee Story, soon to be Renee Pixley. That's the coolest thing, going on in my life right now. And it is super cool. It's cool to be engaged to somebody that you consider your best friend. She makes me laugh. Renee has me on the floor laughing all the time. And, she has, been there with me through thick and thin. This last year, we both have gone through a lot, in our personal lives. And we, not only went through these things, but went through them, as adults together. I think both of us, in our past have been kind of, I think, immature in different relationships and different situations. And when we met each other, I think we really took the opportunity to mature and, find ourselves in this relationship. So when we have like the bad days or we have moments where we have to realize that, now's the time that we have to grow up. It's a lot easier to do that with her because we both want to do it for each other and we both want to do it to be better as individuals and as a couple. So it is amazing. It is awesome. And it's cool to have somebody in your corner consistently. So that's the major headline in my life. I'm also trying to lose weight, consistently. Always something that is on my mind, at least these days. Speaking of Renee has gone through a incredible weight loss journey. We both decided to get sober in the month of August, so neither one of us have had any alcohol since then. She stopped drinking alcohol and, just started eating a little bit better, and she lost almost 100 pounds. And, that is impressive. That is amazing for her. But, I stopped drinking, and that used to be the thing when I was a kid. Like I've been drinking Keystone Light since I was 11 years old. But when I was drinking when I was like 18, 19, 21, whatever, every age that's not the legal drinking age, I would drink a lot. I'd get a beer gut. I'd stop drinking, and then I'd get skinny again. This time around, I stopped drinking, and then the beer gut kind of stuck around, and then it's like, oh man, Treeb, you really are getting older, and if you want this beer gut to go away, or you want this gut to go away, you need to do something about it. Gone are the days of just not drinking beer, and that is how you're going to lose 50 or 60 pounds, at least for me. It used to be that way. You could just stop drinking beer, and then you can still go in your pantry late at night and eat like a whole pack of honey buns, and it wouldn't matter. You would just be able to digest that super, super easily. But now, that's not the case with me. And, if I eat a whole pack of honey buns, it's just gonna stick around, and it doesn't matter if I'm drinking beer or not. And another key factor of this was I stopped drinking sodas, and that was a hard thing for me too. I mean, I've been a soda drinker since I was born. You know what I'm saying? Like, you talk about your parents growing up. I remember kids would be like, "Oh, I can't have soda. My parents don't let me have soda." Like, I felt like I was raised on soda. I was one of those kids raised on, freaking Coca-Cola, Dino chicken nuggets, video games. Like, my childhood was freaking awesome, dude. But I uh I gave up the sodas, and it has been a little hard, mostly I would say the caffeine thing, because every time that I would try to quit soda before, it'd be a little bit easier because I would go and try to drink energy drinks and then drink like 5 or 6 of those, and then that wouldn't, it would be basically the same thing, because it's you drink however much, blah blah blah. But now, no energy drinks, no soda, and I'm just drinking coffee. And I'll tell you, I mean, coffee is the same thing. Now I'm kind of addicted to coffee, and it's whatever liquid I am drinking. I am going to drink in excess. It seems like. So if I could just get into water like super hardcore, I think that would be the best case scenario for me. But it just never happened. Water has always been overrated to me. I never knew how that was on people's top lists of beverages. I remember kids in like 7th and 8th grade would drink water and say that, oh, water makes me hyper, water makes me, excited, wakes me up, gets me ready to do stuff. And I was never that kid. I would already have 4 or 5 Mountain Dews before I had my first sip of water. So I can never really get behind that, but I'm trying to get better. And that's kind of the theme of this first episode, is that Treeb is maturing, or at least trying to. And I'm doing it step by step. With the drinking of the coffee, I've been trying to drink more water in addition to it. So hopefully that comes with the territory, but we will see. Going to my health now. You know, Obviously a seizure guy. I'm a guy who has seizures. Unfortunately, typically have those behind the wheel. But my most recent one, I had it in August, and this time I was actually working out. So I didn't throw that in the mix, because I actually do not work out that often. I had like probably about a month stint or so where I was going to Planet Fitness, probably 3 days a week. And, I went to Planet Fitness, and then after we got done working out, I went into the locker room and just had a seizure and smacked my face into a bunch of lockers. And, that was that. And, I haven't had a seizure since then. And, every time that I go on a bit of a hiatus from the seizures, I like to hope and I like to think that, this is going to be the last one, or I have figured it out. But I've been wrong every time since I've said that. Um, but this time I like to believe that it really is the last time, or the last time for a while, because I do believe that it had something to do with just my tolerance of alcohol. And I just, it's not worth it, to have the seizures, to make people who care about you, worry about you and stuff. And when you think it's something like that, it makes quitting it easier. And yeah, for health reasons, for your future reasons. And yeah, so I didn't want to have the seizures anymore. And I definitely don't want to smack my face in the lockers anymore. And if I could help it, I don't want to wreck any more cars, especially because my most recent car that I drive now is one of my favorite cars I've ever driven. It does everything I need it to do, and it is just an all right rig. And that is kind of, what I live for, are just all right beater vehicles. And that is what I have, and it is awesome. It is named Ass Kicker, and Ass Kicker kicks ass. And it is something that is a great daily driver, but is also something that if I had a seizure in it, definitely would kick my ass. So I would be a victim of ass kickings if I had a seizure in it. So, not to go on a little bit of a tangent there, but I guess I did. I will also say this, I used to be a hater, I think I currently am a hater. I didn't give up my hating, I'm still a hater, but I was a hater specifically on people who put stickers on like coffee mugs or whatever. But it is a cool thing, I think, and it's an expression of yourself, and I think that's what I want this podcast to be. And that's what I want to do when I talk to you guys is have it be an expression of me. And I think, as corny as it is, now I'm kind of behind it. Because, we got some cool stickers. I'll hold it up a little bit. We got a Netflix, supposed to be Marb Red, cigarette pack, 7-Up, which, to be fair, 7-Up is definitely, without a doubt, my least favorite soda. There's no caffeine in 7-Up. But, and then we got some just, sick adult animation characters at the bottom there that, who doesn't like some good adult animation? F is for Families on there, American Dad, and then regular show, which I guess is some kid animation, but still, shouts out to stickers on a coffee mug, or a coffee cup, I guess. I was wrong to hate on that. Now let's get into some stuff. I do have some talking points. I do have some things that, I've been thinking about, and I would, like to talk about some things. Let's talk about Kill Tony a little bit. The New Year's Eve show, I waited to watch that. I even avoided clips if I saw them, because I wanted to watch it and have it be authentic the first time through. I didn't want to be spoiled or anything like that. It was pretty fun. I think I still have the same opinions on these arena shows. And I think Tony he's not coming around to it because obviously you're going to make bank on these arena shows. You're going to make a tremendous amount of money. Why would you stop doing them? But I think he's starting to get annoyed with what happens at these arena shows, right? Because what Kill Tony is at its core, what it always has been and what it always will be, is an open mic night. And what an open mic night at an arena is going to get some very bad results. And I believe it was the first bucketful of this episode was a guy who was doing his first time doing stand-up comedy ever. And he bombed completely. And he did so bad in the interview portion, did bad all throughout. And Tony, was like, why would you do this? First time ever, don't do it on a whim, blah, blah, blah.
What made you want to start stand-up comedy tonight in an arena, not having a joke, a story, any hobbies, or anything about you in the world? What made you choose, I'm going to go up there and I'm going to not show them?
Yeah.
What made you come up with this idea of maybe if I go up there and do everything backwards, this will be great for everybody?
Then the next comic comes out, does well, and then, Tony says, oh, you did better than the last guy, and then he's like, yeah, what happened to him? He was crying backstage, so I just, it's not good, I don't think, for the format, and I still stand by that. Especially with how many bombs were on this show. There were some good moments. It was cool to see Harlan Williams get the Guest of the Year honors for the show. I personally, if I was giving out Guest of the Year, I would give it to, I won't tell you just yet, but it wouldn't be Harlan Williams. I do have a video coming out that I am working on that does go over my guests of the year, where I rank every single guest on Kill Tony this year in a tier list. And Harlan Williams definitely deserves his due credit, and was hilarious this year, and was hilarious on this episode too, especially when he gave the guy with the crazy eyes the sunglasses with the eyes on them. That was very, very funny. And, I had a good time watching this episode. It was a solid overall episode. Somebody else I want to talk about, Fluffy, Gabriel Iglesias, man. What an excellent appearance from him during his time on Kill Tony. I had low expectations for him on the show, just based on him being mostly a clean comic and, not really having the same crowd as Tony Hinchcliffe and not having the same crowd as Kill Tony, but he comes in, he does really well. He's funny. He gives honest critiques to the open micers, and that's really what wins you over in the Kill Tony universe. And Gabriel Iglesias did an amazing job, I think. And the last thing I want to talk about, just in general, and with the Kill Tony universe and Kill Tony, is that Cam Patterson, man, he's been off for a while, man. Like, I haven't laughed at his stand-up set in months, probably. And I think more often than not, his sets end with him saying, "All right, that'll do. That's it. That's fine."
As fuck. All right, I'm done. That's good. Get me out of here. That's my time. I'll do that. That's it. There I go.
And that's okay, because Cam is, like Tony said, probably one of the fastest growing comedians in the world. And I guess, because I didn't do any research, I can't really back that up, but I would imagine he is. Ticket sales are probably good. He's always on the road. He has something to talk about all the time. So I don't know how he does on the road. I don't know what his set is there, but if he's somebody that is super focused on hitting the road and is somebody that's focused on, putting together a better, set or better bits, whatever, then he shouldn't be on Kill Tony, and that would be fine with me. And I think that'd be fine with Cam too, which is, I think just a fine parting of ways between the two parties. So, Cam can work on possibly getting a special, and that would be big for Tony and for Kill Tony, because, that would be a really big moment for Cam and a big moment for the show. Because you look at the guys like David Lucas, who, went off the show and has had a really bad run. And, I think Cam Patterson can flip that. I think if he got off the show, I think he's just an overall positive guy, positive influence. I think he could, not only do good PR for Kill Tony with other guest appearances on podcasts, but I think he could do a good, hour special for a guy that had shown some chops from time to time, especially earlier on in his Kill Tony tenure. So I would like to say that Cam Patterson can bounce back, but I think the best way for him to bounce back is if he at least took a break from Kill Tony for a little bit. And I do want to talk about stand-up as a whole for just a little bit and say that I really loved Ari Shaffir's new stand-up special. I thought it was really funny and offensive in all the right ways. I'm not the biggest Ari Shaffir fan. Not even a little bit. I think out of the Protect Our Parks guys, I think out of the whole Rogan sphere, Ari Shaffir is by far the worst to me. I don't like him on podcasts. Honestly, I don't even recall if I've seen another Ari Shaffir special, and I was going to not, watch this one, but I was on a run of 2 or 3 straight comedy specials one night, and I was like, I might as well give Ari a chance. And, I came out the other end really, really enjoying it. He has a lot of good bits in here, a lot of good jokes, and I think you should give it a chance. If you aren't a big Ari Shaffir guy, I think you will like this one. He did a really good job. The production was good, the jokes were good, and just overall was a very good stand-up special from Ari Shaffir. And one more thing with the comedy world and just podcasting as a whole, if you haven't watched Matan Even interview Brian Callen, that is a hilarious podcast. 49 minutes of nonstop trolling, and it really feels like the whole entire interview. It feels like you're on a, I don't know, a high-speed chase, or if you're really late for a baseball game and you're in the back seat and your mom is driving 10 miles over the speed limit trying to make it to the game on time. It is a really fast-paced podcast, and it's just Matan trolling Brian nonstop. And Brian was a really good sport throughout the podcast, which was nice to see. And, it's one step closer to getting Brendan Schaub on this podcast, which would be absolute gold and absolutely hilarious. And I really, really, really want to see that. I think that's Matan's dream guest. And, I think, I saw, I think it was Comedy Enforcement broke down this podcast episode, and discussed how Bobby Lee has some influence a little bit, maybe perhaps, on Matan Even. And I think that's cool that Bobby is doing that, because I think Matan is on fire, dude. I think he's hilarious. He's so funny, and when he almost breaks, there's not like a lot of people that are funnier to watch almost break, because he doesn't completely break character ever, but he just like looks up into the sky and just like really bites down on his lips, and it's very, very funny to watch. And if you've never seen Matan in action, if you've never seen his podcast, you should really check it out. It's good stuff. It's really, really funny and extremely worth the watch, I would say, without a doubt. And transitioning away from stand-up, let's talk about some things that I'm known for, some topics that I, have built this YouTube channel on. And, if you look through my channel now, I'm in the process of, bulk deleting a lot of old videos, for no real particular reason, just because I think right now, or not right now probably, but when I started deleting my YouTube videos, I think I had like 1.1 thousand videos that included with the shorts, and I was just like, man, I have too much on this channel right now. So I just needed to tighten it up a little bit, make it more modern, make it more of what it is today. So that's what I went with. So let's talk about the Jags. Let's start off with the Jags hiring Liam Cohen as the new head coach. I don't really want to dive too much in to the whole drama with Tampa Bay. I do think that's very funny. I think that's awesome that Jacksonville, for once, is on the other side of something like this. Usually, Jacksonville is on the opposite side of some type of drama or on some type of bullshit like this. But, we were finally able to right the ship in this situation. I like the hiring of Liam Cohen. I like the idea of hiring somebody who is an offensive-minded guy, and somebody who I think that fits the mold of the way that the NFL is heading and the way that the NFL is currently. We hired a lot of hacks recently, a lot of old school guys, a lot of names that Shad Khan probably saw one time and was like, oh, fuck, hire that guy. Hire Urban Meyer. He was good once. And, he was good in college. Hire Doug Peterson, Philly. He's got a thing. He's got a statue. And then, and this time he hired Liam Cohen, and it's like, that was a real non-Shad Khan hire. That was a real against the grain hire, but it feels like it fits what the successful teams are doing. It fits what, is working currently in the NFL. And I'm really hoping that, it is something that is good for not only the Jags, but it is good for Trevor Lawrence's development, because I want to see Trevor Lawrence succeed. I want Trevor Lawrence to be the guy here. I want him to be the guy that brings us our Super Bowl. But we will see. I will say that this year really tested my patience with the Jags, and I was very, very irritated. Made me really mad at football as a whole. Didn't watch a whole lot of football this season, I will be honest with you. I spent a lot of time as a sports reporter, the last 2-3 years, just living, breathing sports, and really, watching a lot of shitty Jags football while covering a lot of local sports as well. And just this year, I just took a break from it and really only just exclusively watched the Jags. And that sucked so much ass. And if you don't know, if you're questioning how loyal of a fan I am, I watched every single Jags game this year. Every one of them, dude. And it was awful. And, I think I deserve a good football team to watch. And god dang it, they should go and win the thing. Let's go and let's win some ball games. Hopefully Liam Cohen is the guy that gets it done for us. That's at least what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm praying for. And yeah, and I think the other Jags thing that I want to talk about particularly, at least right now, is that Eric Armstead won the Man of the Year award. And it's cool, you do charity stuff, but still fuck Eric Armstead. I don't care. I don't care that he won Man of the Year. He liked whatever that guy's, whatever that Texans linebacker's name is that, it almost killed Trevor Lawrence. He liked his picture. Eric Armstead was useless on the field all year this year. So, whatever. I don't think, I hated him all year. It was useless. Him and Gabe Davis. That's the thing too. I hope the Jags can, not only spend money in free agency, but bring in the right guys, because they suck at doing that constantly. The Jags still right now do not have a GM. Still don't have a GM. But I mean, you look at the free agency class last year. I mean, you bring in Eric Armstead and Gabe Davis, who I think there's at least a couple of people that had at least some high hopes to at least mediocre hopes that those two would be at least all right, but they were very, very bad. They were up there with the Julius Thomas signings of the world for the Jacksonville Jaguars. It was that bad. And not enough. And the Jags need to do a better job of that this offseason with the new regime. And hopefully it's just a turning of a tide. A turning of the tide or whatever it is, with this organization, with the new coaching staff, and that we just build something completely different, something completely foreign, and that this is a team that now identifies as a winner instead of a loser. But, I don't know. That's probably a little bit too much high hopes for my favorite team, your favorite team, and your mom's favorite team, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Speaking of a little bit too much high hopes, the Chiefs' hopes of a three-peat was a little bit too high when they lost the Super Bowl on Sunday. And, it was a shitty game to watch. I was happy to watch it with some of my coworkers and friends, and that was a fun time. But I did not enjoy the game as a whole. It was boring. Very defensive output though. Josh Sweat for the Eagles had a really good game. The Chiefs did do a good job of bottling up Saquon Barkley, but man, dude, Jalen Hurts firing on all cylinders in that game. And, I'm a guy that has talked my fair share of shit on Jalen Hurts. But that guy came out and he delivered. I got to say, he played very, very well. And, when the Eagles have that kind of team, they do have a very, very stacked roster. I mean, this is a super team on offense, a super team on defense. I mean, they have it all. So, the fact that they were hoisting Lombardi at the end of the season is no surprise. But I do want to reiterate the fact that the Jags only lost by one possession to the Eagles this year. So, if Liam Cohen just gets the right guys in the building, the Jags, man, we're right there. We're right there. At least in my mind, we're right there. Other Super Bowl topics or other things that happened for the Super Bowl. Kendrick Lamar's halftime show was fine, I guess. I feel like there's more people that are really extreme on one side or the other. You have some people that say that was the best halftime show ever. That was so symbolic. It's got all these messages. And then you got some people, like old white people, that say, oh, you needed subtitles to hear them. This was super, super bad. And then you got, dummies like me and people who are deaf like me who kind of see it from both sides. I am too stupid to realize that this is a broken up American flag that he has going on out there. And the fact that his chain was supposed to be an A minor symbol. When he came out with that chain, I was like, why does he have an Amazon chain right now? And, and I was serious, it was a joke, but it was a serious, joke. I didn't really know what it was. But now that it was that, I'm like, man, great symbolism, great, little thing. And, I guess it had a ton more of stuff in it. They also had Serena Williams just dancing during the show, which was hilarious because, how random is that? Just Serena Williams out of all people dancing during Kendrick Lamar's halftime show. What? I don't know. That was a strange thing to happen. And I remember one of my friends said, "Is that Serena Williams?" And we all laughed. And we're like, "No way, that's Serena Williams." And then come to see, it was Serena Williams. That's how obscure it was. I don't understand. I don't know. Maybe they're good buddies. They could be. I don't really know. I'm not aware of Kendrick Lamar and Serena Williams' personal relationship, I suppose. But nonetheless, I can see it from both sides, but I think I'm one of the few people that will say it was all right. It was fine. It was cool to hear, somebody that is from my generation perform at the halftime show, and it is, starting to be that, at least for the last couple halftime shows. And it's cool to hear songs that on the halftime show, and it was cool to hear him do Not Like Us. That was cool. But and in the same aspect, I will agree with the boomers, and I'll agree with the old people that say, that they couldn't hear him. And there's a whole group of people on the internet saying that like, oh, people are just saying they can't hear him, and like, oh, okay, boomer. Like, it was actually really hard to hear him during the show. Like, I really had a hard time, you know, trying to hear my man Kendrick Lamar, spit a hot 16 on the 50-yard line for the Super Bowl. And I was somebody who had a real interest in listening to Kendrick Lamar perform during the Super Bowl. And I didn't really get as good of a listening experience as I would have wanted to, because of the fact that I couldn't really hear him. Couldn't really hear Kendrick. But as far as halftime shows go, it was fine. As far as halftime rap performances go, I still don't think it has anything on the Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem halftime show, which was also, pretty controversial. A lot of old white people also hated that one. But, I really liked it. Again, it's cool to hear like a lot of songs and a lot of songs you like during the halftime show of a Super Bowl. When you get guys like Bruno Mars and like Maroon 5 and, The Weeknd to perform the Super Bowl, like, you don't just listen to those guys. Like, those are songs that just play on the radio. Like, you just recognize the tune of Bruno Mars, The Weeknd, and Maroon 5. Like, those aren't, songs that you're excited to hear at the Super Bowl, but, Not Like Us, and that was really it for Kendrick. I'm sorry, but I mean, like, I was more excited to see if he was gonna play. Oh, I guess DNA and Humble were kind of cool, but I was excited to see if he was gonna play like Swimming Pools, Mad City. If he played Backseat Freestyle, like some of his old stuff. But, no, not a whole lot of stuff that was super exciting. It's like the Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre show where like every song they played was a banger after a banger. And not the same with Kendrick. I think he prioritized a display and imagery over, perhaps playing his all-time great hits, So it's different strokes for different folks, I would say. But overall, for me, I would give it probably a 7 out of 10, 6.5 perhaps. I will say that a majority of the time I leave a Super Bowl halftime show as a just kind of a football fan and somebody who doesn't really go into the Super Bowl wanting to watch the halftime show or really anticipating it. I left it with an impression. So that is good, and that is something to be said for the halftime show. And finally, to end these podcasts, I want to do something where I pitch you guys, probably all 2 or 3 or 4 of you guys that listen to these podcasts, an idea that I have, for whether it be a podcast series, a book, or a TV show, whatever it is. I'm full of these ideas just for things. And, I'm going to pitch this idea. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and, see if it maybe has some links. So kind of the first thing that I want to pitch about is something that I've been kind of writing, something I've been dabbling in, but it's a book, and it's about a plague where everyone has 24 hours to live, and it's going to follow the life of somebody who got stuck at a Walmart, and they have to figure out how they live in that society. So basically, this plague, everybody in this world got a text message at the same time. So everybody is tapped in the Chinese is is the Chinese disease, and everybody is tapped in to the cell phones, and everybody gets a text at the same time, notification. You have 24 hours to live, and wherever you are at, you are stuck because this illness is airborne, and if you go outside, it's going to take 5 minutes to kill you. So wherever you're at, that is where you're stuck at. And people are out in the streets, they're going nuts, they're trying to either get a bunch of supplies to take home, so they can live at their house, or what have you. They're just trying to figure out what can they do in this 24-hour period in order to survive. Where are they going to go, yada yada yada. And so there's a group of people, and obviously I think this is something that a lot of people might do, is that are in a Walmart or in a department store, and they just live in there, and they are just shut in there for life. And, it's going to follow that group of people that, ultimately got shut into this Walmart while this airborne illness, has taken over. And, if you go outside, you die. So, you have no other choice but to live amongst a society that is now at this Walmart. I'm thinking, probably between 50 to 100 people. And, I think that there is, there's some room for some conflict. I'm thinking that the main protagonist is going to be a man, and this man is going to leave his wife and his daughter, and he's going to go and try to bring some supplies home, but he gets caught up because it's like a purge outside. And he's trying to be doing the noble thing, being the only guy, being a man, and not forcing his wife or his daughter, and his daughter's a baby, so it's like I would say like a 6-month-old baby, to go out and do this, so he's going to go out and do it himself. So he's fighting things off in this purge, and he finally gets this Walmart. He's like right at the end of it, and just, as he's about to walk out the door, this airborne illness hits, and, he has just like 3 minutes to either, try and make it home or just go back inside. And then all of a sudden everything goes black, and somehow, he's inside this Walmart. Maybe one of the other people that are inhabiting this place dragged him in and said, we need to save him, or, maybe he fought through it. It's something like that. But that's basically the premise of what I'm going for, and something that I think would be a decent book, or at least would be a decent plot for a book that I would like to work on, or something that I think would work in the future. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is a new little series that I'm going to be putting out here on the YouTube channel. Let me know what you guys think. If you do watch it, if you do enjoy it, awesome, amazing. That is all I like to hear. Let me know what I can improve. Let me know what I can do different. And yeah, until next time, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button, click the like button if you did enjoy it. Check all the links down below. If you want to do me a favor, also subscribe to the Lewiston Tribune on YouTube. We put out podcasts there, and I do all the production on that end of things, so that would mean a lot to me as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.